Adonis is a poor orphan boy neglected by everyone until the most powerful witch named Chloe in the land takes him in and raises him like her own son. Despite the backlash, she even teaches him the forbidden summoning spell. Their peaceful life together is cut short when Emperor starts hunting witches and punishes Chloe while Adonis burns in anger, vowing to take revenge. Long ago, God created humans and made witches to share his power and help guide people. At first, witches did their duty well, but over time, humans started fearing them. They began hunting witches, forcing them to hide. Now, Chloe and young Adonis are walking through a desert. Chloe is struggling to read a paper map while Adonis uses his own magical phone. Chloe warns him that using such a device is risky, but Adonis tells her it's safe. He created the phone using magic, so it can't be tracked by the military. Adonis jokes about Chloe using old-fashioned maps, but she quickly teaches him a lesson. She also reminds him that witches have to keep running and hiding because the world now hates them. She says that instead of being a witch, she feels more like a ninja. They are searching for a peaceful place where witches can live safely, and where Adonis can go to school. But Adonis says he only wants to keep learning from Chloe. Chloe laughs and teases him for liking older women. Suddenly, some soldiers appear. Adonis wants to fight, but Chloe stops him. She says he's not ready yet. She summons her staff and prepares to use ice magic. Meanwhile, back in the Empire of Rhedia, Emperor Goth is furious. He finds out Chloe escaped again and punishes the messenger. He gives orders that Chloe must be caught, no matter what. Chloe defeats the soldiers and tells Adonis they must leave. Adonis feels angry because she didn't let him fight. He tries to prove himself by summoning a giant sword. But Chloe says again he's still too young. Adonis thinks Chloe is stopping him because he's human and she doesn't want him to harm other humans. But Adonis says he doesn't care. He only wants to protect her. Chloe is touched by his words. Suddenly, a device left by one of the soldiers starts flashing. The ground shakes and a green light surrounds them. Before they can understand what's happening, they are teleported. They appear in front of the Emperor, surrounded by many soldiers. Adonis tells Chloe to run, but the soldiers catch him. Chloe threatens to kill everyone if they don't let him go, and begins to cast a strong spell. But her magic fails. A device underground is blocking it. The crowd laughs at her. Adonis also tries to use his powers, but nothing works. The Emperor says the time of witches is over. He rips Chloe's shirt and hits her in front of everyone. Adonis breaks free and tries to save her, but gets captured again. The Emperor gives the order to kill Adonis. Chloe begs for his life and says she kidnapped and raised him as a slave. She offers her life in exchange. Adonis is shocked by her sacrifice. He tries to use magic, but nothing happens. The Emperor lifts his weapon. Chloe thanks Adonis for everything, remembering their journey and saying she loves him. Then she is shot and killed in front of the crowd. The Emperor shows her head to everyone while they cheer. Adonis watches in horror and swears to destroy the Empire and take revenge for Chloe. 10 years later, in a prison inside the Rhedia Empire, two women fight over bread. A kind girl named Daroka stops them and gives her share to end the fight. Her friend Anna worries that Daroka will go hungry, but Daroka stays cheerful. Anna is amazed that Daroka still wants to help others even in such a dark place. She remembers that even though witches are gone and technology has improved, war still continues. Daroka and Anna are prisoners of war. Daroka tries to cheer Anna up by doing a puppet show. As the guards come in, they call out for prisoner number 28. Everyone knows that whoever is called never comes back. This time, they want Anna, but Daroka stands up and offers herself instead. Anna cries, realizing Daroka is saving her. Daroka is brought to the warden, who says prisoners will be sold as slaves. He takes a selfie with her. But Daroka suddenly bites his finger, steals his phone, and runs. She tries to open the prison cells, but the phone needs the warden's voice. Daroka copies his voice and unlocks all the cells, telling the others to escape. As everyone runs, Daroka searches for a way out but ends up in a strange room. A guard finds her, but then panics as a glass container starts to open. A man inside wakes up and breaks free, and it is none other than Adonis. Adonis looks furious while the guards are frozen in fear. He quickly knocks one out. Another guard tries to shoot, but Adonis blocks the bullet and uses the guard's own gun to take him down. Daroka is terrified when Adonis points the gun at her, but instead of hurting her, he shoots off her chains and sets her free. While the prison falls into chaos, the guards try to take control again. At the National Security Bureau, Director Yamato hears about the situation and tells his top officer, Ikout, to take care of it. Ikout happily agrees, but Yamato's sister, Yuki, is upset by his carefree attitude. She reminds him they are supposed to protect the Empire. Yamato calmly tells her that Ikout is trusted for a reason. Back at the prison, the warden panics when he learns Adonis has escaped. He's shocked that Daroka was able to open Adonis's cell, since not even his phone should have had access. On top of that, Adonis's powerful magical pen is missing. Outside, Adonis uses his magic again for the first time in 10 years. He creates a massive magical bullet and fires it at a building, causing huge destruction. Inside the prison, Ikout hears about the attack. Before heading out, he punches the warden. Meanwhile, Daroka escapes too, but when she sees the destruction Adonis is causing, she feels guilty for freeing him. As Adonis walks through the city, he remembers how his master would never want him to get revenge. Still, he can't stop himself. He summons a giant magical robot and begins to destroy the city. An officer hears about the attack but thinks it's a joke, until a car crashes through the wall and the terrified driver confirms it's real. The officer looks outside and sees the chaos. From a distance, Yamato and Yuki watch everything. They confirm Adonis is the one behind the attack. Yamato suggests using a device that stops magic, but it hasn't been used in years, so they're unsure if it still works. The city calls for a full emergency. Tanks are sent in and fire at the robot, but they miss. Adonis hits back by smashing buildings and throwing debris. For humans to use magic, they must understand and control it. Even during his 10 years in prison, Adonis kept practicing magic in his mind, planning to destroy those who supported the Empire after Chloe's death. He summons 2 huge guns and starts shooting everywhere. But even though he is finally getting revenge, it brings him no joy. He starts crying while attacking. Ikout sees Adonis inside the giant robot's hand. The military sends fighter jets to bomb him. Civilians are caught in the blasts. A child is about to be crushed by a falling building, but Daroka rushes in and saves the kid. She feels responsible for all this and promises to fix things. Meanwhile, in the palace, the emperor lies sick in bed with an illness that cannot be cured. He wonders if this is a punishment from God, but still believes wiping out the witches was the right thing for humanity. Back in the city, Adonis fights soldiers on the ground. His magic is too powerful, and he defeats them all. He's about to kill the last soldier when Daroka runs up and begs him to stop. She says enough people have died and she doesn't want to see more innocent blood. Her words make Adonis angry. He remembers sparing her earlier because she was from another country, but now he questions if anyone should be spared. Daroka reminds him that Chloe would not want him to do this. But Adonis gets upset and yells at her not to say his master's name. He thinks humans are using Daroka to distract him. Daroka then reveals something shocking. She is also a witch. Adonis is surprised. He thought all witches were gone. But Daroka says a few survived. Adonis asks why they didn't save Chloe. Daroka explains they were too busy trying to stay alive. Adonis doesn't care for her excuses. But Daroka says they can bring Chloe back using his memories. Adonis doesn't believe her, but Daroka tells him she came to the Empire just to find him and bring his master back. Adonis gets ready to kill her, but then he sees her face. She looks like Chloe. He breaks down in tears. Daroka tells him he's not alone anymore. But suddenly, she is shot. Ikout missed his target, and he looked disappointed that he had meant to kill them both. In a flashback, Daroka watches helplessly as soldiers attack a peaceful village, setting it on fire and killing witches. A witch named Mia tells her that the humans attacked without any warning. Daroka is confused. The witches didn't do anything wrong. But Mia explains that they can't use magic because a special device is blocking their powers. She tells Daroka to escape and report everything to their leader. Before she runs, Mia also tells her to follow the Star of Revelation, which will guide her to Ophelia's mansion. As soldiers surround Mia, Doroka runs away. Back in the present, Doroka is badly injured. Adonis tries to keep her awake and asks her how to bring Chloe back to life. Doroka manages to share a few important details, but before she can say more, soldiers start firing at them. Doroka dies in Adonis's arms. Adonis sees he's surrounded. Using his magic, he freezes the bullets in the air and then sends them flying back, killing the soldiers. Ekout tries to shoot Adonis from a distance, but Adonis takes control of the bullet, enlarges it, and sends it back, instantly killing Ekout. Meanwhile, Yuki heads toward the device that stops magic. But Director Theta stops her and says they can't use it. Yuki demands an explanation. Theta contacts Yamato and tells him the truth. The device releases tiny particles that harm human cells and cause a deadly sickness. This is why the soldiers from the witch hunts later became sick or died. Theta also reveals that the environment has become more dangerous since the witches disappeared, which makes the device even riskier now. She adds that the Emperor himself got exposed to this device, and that's why he is dying from a serious illness. As Adonis continues his attack, Theta tells Yuki to leave. But Yuki runs ahead and activates the device anyway. Suddenly, Adonis's magic stops working and he drops his pen. Theta quickly turns the device off and calls Yamato to let him know. Yamato becomes worried for Yuki, but Theta reminds him that they must defeat Adonis before he regains his powers. The Empire, after all, believes it must remain undefeated. Yamato orders the soldiers to attack while Adonis tries to reach his pen. Just then, a girl runs forward. A building falls and blocks the soldiers' view. In that moment, the girl rushes up and cuts off Adonis's head. Adonis doesn't resist. He feels at peace, thinking he'll finally see Chloe again. The girl shows Adonis's head to the soldiers, who cheer loudly, thinking the danger is over. But Theta warns them not to relax yet. They still need to recover Adonis's body and rescue any survivors. When he asks about the girl who killed Adonis, he learns she's a new recruit. Still, he tells the officers to focus on finding Yuki instead. Yuki and Theta are taken for medical treatment. At the palace, the Emperor gives a speech to the people. He blames Adonis for all the destruction and deaths. He admits they don't understand how a human like Adonis could use magic and feels guilty for not killing him sooner. He promises the people that the Empire is still the strongest, thanks to science and powerful soldiers. Somewhere else, a girl named Eri watches the Emperor's speech. Her teacher tells the class that some students died during the recent events, but they will continue with exams. One student wonders why a human like Adonis helped witches. The teacher guesses that he was probably brainwashed. After class, another girl approaches Eri and says she knows the truth. But Eri dismisses her, thinking it's just fear talking. Later, Eri visits the ruined city to pay her respects. She feels angry at the government for failing to protect the people. She cries, remembering how she ran away during Adonis's attack, which led to her boyfriend being crushed. She feels guilty for not staying with him. Looking at pictures of Adonis, she admits he was handsome, but senses someone watching her. It's the deputy director, Gorgeous. He works for the government, but he assures her he won't report her. After she leaves, Gorgeous contacts his assistant, Charmy, and says Eri has been influenced by enemies of the state and must be arrested for treason. A soldier tells Gorgeous that their search of the destroyed area is complete. As they prepare to leave, Charmy gives him shocking news. The body of Adonis they found was a fake, which means Adonis might still be alive. Adonis is in terrible pain as some witches treat his injuries. They are worried that the teleportation was too much for a human to handle. Soon, Ophelia arrives and uses gentle magic to calm his mind. While resting, Adonis remembers what happened and realizes that the soldier who helped him escape was actually Doroka's friend, Anna. She tells him that saving his life was the most important thing. Suddenly, a magical shield forms around Adonis and carries him away, crashing him gently to the ground. Mia runs to him and hugs him, thanking him for standing up for the witches. Adonis, confused, demands to know where he is. Mia tells him that he's now in the land of witches. The next day, Adonis is taken on a tour. He sees witches living peacefully, away from war and danger. Mia tells him to rest and recover because his body went through a lot. As they walk, the witches welcome him warmly, calling him Chloe's student. Surprised, Adonis wonders how they knew about his master. Ophelia explains that Chloe was once a well-known and powerful witch, known for her kindness. But she was banished because she chose to teach a human, something witches are not supposed to do. Their magic is believed to be a holy gift meant only for witches. Adonis grows impatient and asks Mia to stop wasting time. Mia then shows him his magic pen and returns it to him. Adonis demands to know if it's really possible to bring Chloe back to life. Mia promises that witches do not lie. Adonis feels a little more hopeful. Suddenly, he notices something strange. The sky looks like Earth. He realizes that he is actually on the moon. Mia takes him to a glowing tree called the Nino tree. She explains that this is the last magical tree the witches saved before humans destroyed the others on Earth. This tree helps bring new witches into the world, and it can even bring someone back to life. Adonis is amazed and wonders if Chloe's spirit could be inside one of the fruits on the tree. Mia explains more. Magic is the power to turn thoughts into real things. Adonis's magic is a perfect example of that. She tells him that if he uses his memories of Chloe, he can seal them into a fruit and bring her back. Adonis is shocked but also filled with hope. Mia tells him to take his time and think it through. When he is ready, he can call her to start the ritual. Later, Adonis is lost in thought, remembering Chloe and how much she meant to him. Anna walks up and starts crying, upset that Daroka died to save him. Adonis, still cold, says it's not his concern and tries to walk away. Anna yells at him for being selfish, caring only about bringing back Chloe. She wonders why Daroka even risked her life for him. Adonis then reveals he knows the witch's real plan. Anna is shocked. He tells her that before Daroka died, she warned him about what the witches are really doing. According to Daroka, the witches don't need any protection from the outside world. They can survive harsh places like the moon. The fancy place Adonis is staying in is actually a trap for humans. Adonis believes the witches plan to capture humans, teach them magic, and use them as fighters. Since they are almost extinct, they want to build an army. Only Chloe can make the special magic pens needed for this. That's why the witches want her back. Anna, desperate, asks Adonis what he plans to do. Adonis replies that he will bring Chloe back no matter what. But if the witches try to force people, he will treat them as enemies. When the time comes, Adonis begins the ritual. He uses his magic to send his memories into one of the Nino tree's fruits. As he remembers all the times he spent with Chloe and how deeply he loves her, the ritual completes. A bright light shines, and to his surprise, the one who comes out of the fruit is Daroka. Adonis cries as he looks at the fruit of the Nino tree. He says he loves Chloe too much to bring her back into a world full of pain. He believes there's no safe place for her anymore. Humans want her dead, and the witches only want to use her. To protect her from more suffering, he changes the spell and brings Daroka back to life instead. Daroka wakes up confused in Adonis's arms. She remembers dying on Earth. Embarrassed, she realizes she's not wearing anything and quickly moves back, telling Adonis to forget what he saw. He calmly tells her to put on a jacket and get up. Meanwhile, the witches are furious. Mia, forcing a smile, questions how Adonis could betray them after they healed him and kept him safe. Other witches accuse him of lying about loving Chloe, or say Daroka must have tricked him. Mia looks at him with rage in her eyes. Adonis tells them all to be quiet. He says the decision was his and his alone. Angry at his response, Mia lifts her hand to attack him with magic. Suddenly, strange lights surround her. She panics and asks what he did. Adonis says he didn't do anything. He was just a prisoner. Then he pulls a tracking chip from his body. At that moment, an explosion hits, and the last Nino tree catches fire. Yamato appears. He used the chip to find them. He tells Adonis and the witches they're trapped and will soon be wiped out. Adonis responds calmly, saying he invited Yamato here for this final battle. One witch rushes to save the burning tree with water magic, but her head is sliced off before she can help. The fire keeps burning. Mia, now desperate, tells the witches to prepare to fight. They put on battle armor and attack. Yamato charges at Adonis, but Adonis quickly uses magic to steal his gun. Yamato falls, and Adonis aims at him. Just before he pulls the trigger, Daroka grabs his shirt, stopping him. Nearby, the witches battle the soldiers. Each witch uses different magic, killing many enemies. Mia uses her powers to make the soldiers float. Their bullets slow down and miss. Then she crushes them in midair, covering the area in blood. She believes they might win, until more soldiers arrive and kill more witches. Back on Earth, people watch the fight live. They're shocked to see witches still alive after they were supposedly wiped out 10 years ago. Director Theta, now sick from the magic suppression device, explains how they escaped. During the old witch hunts, dead witches were sent into space in capsules. But some witches used those capsules to flee to the moon and build a secret base. A man blames Theta for not discovering this sooner and says her mistake is bigger than just losing her job. Another leader, Shiroaji, tells him to calm down and focus on ending the fight before dealing with the media. In a flashback, Yamato is seen caring for his sister Yuki, who now has late-stage cancer caused by the magic suppression machine. He remembers how Yuki always supported him and became the youngest vice director to stay close to him. He loves her deeply and blames Adonis for what happened to her. Yamato decides to give everything he has to defeat Adonis. He boosts his battlesuit to its highest power and charges at Adonis, landing a powerful punch that sends him flying. Daroka runs to help, but Adonis tells her to watch Yamato carefully. Yamato, full of rage, says Adonis must pay for siding with the witches. He plans to finish this fight and dreams of retiring with Yuki afterward. He pulls out his sword and unleashes a massive slash of energy that kills all the nearby witches instantly. Adonis dodges, but Mia and many others die. Daroka survives, only because Anna protects her with magic, but Anna doesn't survive. Back at command, the military loses contact with the battle site. No one knows what's going on. The whole base is soaked in blood. Daroka sobs next to Anna's body. Now only Adonis and Yamato remain standing. Yamato sends a message saying all witches have been eliminated and only Adonis is left. Adonis uses his magic to cover himself in armor and charges at Yamato. He leaps into the air, dodges Yamato's next slash, and smashes Yamato's sword with a powerful punch to the chest. But Yamato doesn't stop. His suit traps Adonis, and he grows a new sword to attack again. All around them, witches sit in pools of blood, terrified. Mia, barely alive, tells them not to give up, but they feel hopeless. With the Nino tree destroyed, witches can no longer be born or reborn. One witch tries to rally the others to help Adonis, but she is shot before finishing her sentence. More soldiers enter the area. Yamato stabs his sword into the ground, creating a strong wind that throws Adonis back. Yamato charges and tries to stab him, but Adonis has one last move. He summons a giant sword from the sky and slices off Yamato's arm. The suit keeps Yamato alive, stopping the bleeding. But Yamato says Adonis is too dangerous and must die now. He raises his sword, ready to strike the final blow. Just as Yamato is about to strike, Daroka shouts for him to stop. She casts a freezing spell that traps everyone in place. The soldiers aim their guns at her, but she calmly walks through them and faces Yamato. She asks his name, and he answers, confused by her actions. Adonis laughs and tells Daroka to finish him off. Yamato demands she end the spell, but Daroka, her hand shaking, asks him to promise to leave with his soldiers if she releases them. She says she wants the fighting to stop. Adonis thinks she's lost her mind, reminding her that Yamato killed many witches, even her best friend. Yamato mocks her too, saying witches bring destruction and that Adonis deserves to die for killing innocent people. Daroka stands firm and argues that humans started hunting witches for no reason, and it's human weapons that have caused most of the destruction. Still, Yamato refuses to listen. So Daroka uses a strong spell that shows him a memory of when she was his childhood love. This memory overwhelms Yamato, and he agrees to stop the fighting and leave. But as soon as Yamato lets his guard down, Adonis takes the chance to stab and behead him. The soldiers are shocked to see their leader fall. Adonis walks up to Daroka and praises her magic. Then he tells her to use her powers to destroy all of humanity with him. He urges her to stop pretending and join his path of revenge. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Emperor receives news about the battle on the moon. He doesn't care about the details. He just wants to know if the witches are being killed. The messenger nervously says yes, just to keep the Emperor calm. When the Emperor hears that Adonis is also there, he looks to the sky, excited. He laughs loudly, happy that both Adonis and the witches will die together. He hugs his wife and says he finally got rid of the witches, just like she wanted. But there's a dark twist. His wife is actually a witch. She used love magic to control the Emperor and make him kill all the witches. Now that he's done everything she asked, she tells him he can die. Under her magic, the Emperor walks to the edge of the palace roof. The messenger tries to stop him, but the Emperor smiles and jumps, landing on a sharp spike. The messenger realizes the queen is a witch. He tries to attack her, but she casts a spell on him too. She makes him report that the Emperor's death was an accident. Then she turns to Shiroaji, who is standing behind her, and asks if he has a problem with what just happened. He doesn't care and says the Emperor was just a puppet anyway. The queen, whose name is Dorothea, reveals that her magic only works on men. This is why she saw other witches as threats. She couldn't control them. 10 years ago, she and the Emperor started the witch hunt for this reason. Now, believing all the witches are dead, she plans to rule the world. But Dorothea's true goal isn't power. It's Adonis. She wants to control him with her love magic and turn him into her most powerful weapon. Since Adonis is the only man who can use magic, he is very valuable to her. She is a witch who can travel across different worlds and is obsessed with him. Back on the moon, Adonis asks Doroka to join him in destroying the human world. She refuses, so he says he'll do it alone. Because Doroka's spell is still active, the soldiers can't move. Adonis uses magic to turn the blood on the floor into deadly tentacles. The tentacles wrap around the frozen soldiers and rip them apart. The air fills with screams. Doroka begs him to stop. She doesn't want to hurt Adonis, but she feels like she must. Before she can act, Adonis appears in front of her and warns her not to try anything. He threatens to kill her again if she does. Then he returns to the soldiers and kills the rest, their blood splashing on his face. Adonis walks past Doroka and goes to Yamato's body. He uses magic to remove Yamato's face and wear it like a mask. Using Yamato's voice, he sends a message to the Empire's base, pretending the witches are gone and asking to be brought back. But the director at the base notices something is off and realizes it's not really Yamato. Adonis removes the fake face and grabs Doroka, planning to take her with him because he still needs her magic. Doroka slaps him and asks if he really thinks Chloe would be proud of what he's done. Before he can reply, the teleportation system activates. Mia, who is still alive on the moon, realizes this was Adonis's plan all along. He tricked the Empire into thinking they won so they would bring him back to Earth. As he and Doroka vanish in the teleportation beam, Adonis quietly apologizes in his heart to the witches who died because of him. He still feels regret, even if only a little. Adonis and Doroka are expected by the Empire. They discover he tricked them by pretending to be Yamato, so they set a trap. As soon as the teleport beam appears, they open fire, but nothing arrives. They realize Adonis has changed the location and escaped. One of the witches says Adonis has outsmarted them this time. Far away, in a quiet desert, Adonis and Doroka stand under the stars. Adonis points up, telling Doroka they're back on Earth. He's still covered in blood but looks determined. He tells her they'll start attacking small towns on their way to conquer the Redia Empire. Then we see what happened earlier. While Doroka was begging him to help the witches on the moon, Adonis was busy changing the teleport spell so they could escape to Earth. Doroka wants to go back, but Adonis says it's too late, the witches are gone. When she refuses to believe him, he calls her a spoiled child. Doroka snaps and calls him immature for caring only about revenge. To shut her up, Adonis uses memory magic to remind her of how she once begged Yamato for help. Doroka feels ashamed and turns away. Adonis realizes Doroka never fit in with the other witches because she wanted peace, not war. She tells Adonis she wanted to understand why Chloe picked him to be her apprentice. She hoped he could bring peace between humans and witches, but now she sees she was wrong. Adonis tells her she doesn't get him. He says that just like he can't forgive humans, they'll never forgive him. The world took Chloe from him, and he believes it deserves to be destroyed. Daroka doesn't understand how he can carry so much hate. She says he used the witches as tools just to come back to Earth. Adonis doesn't deny it. Daroka is heartbroken. She says the witches fought so hard to live, but Adonis doesn't care. He tells her she's the one betraying them by defending humans. Daroka says revenge won't heal anything. Adonis doesn't listen. He says he has nothing left, and begins to walk away. Daroka tackles him and begs him to remember Chloe's love. She says revenge will destroy him and make him just like the ones who hurt him. She reminds him that Chloe gave her life to protect him, and that means his life still has meaning. To Adonis, revenge is the only thing that proves Chloe existed. He's afraid that if he stops, he'll forget her. Daroka starts crying again, and Adonis says that's all she ever does. But slowly, they begin to understand each other. Still, Daroka notices Adonis looks sick. Not far away, a group of bikers spots them. Their leader, Mr. Punch, says they'll deal with the couple later. Later, Adonis wakes up in a strange room. He's tired of waking up in unfamiliar places. He remembers Daroka asking the bikers for help when he passed out from blood loss. Mr. Punch arrives and jokes about Adonis's cold stare. He offers a drink, but Adonis refuses, thinking it's dirty water. Punch insists it's the best drink ever. Adonis asks where Daroka is. Punch says she was taking care of him, but some younger guys took her away. They step outside into a dusty land full of outcasts, refugees, and people who escaped from Rhedia. Suddenly, Adonis hears Daroka's voice and rushes toward the sound, worried. But when he arrives, he's surprised. Daroka is trying to learn how to ride a motorcycle. She had just asked them to stop the bike. She's happy to see Adonis awake, but falls off the bike while trying to greet him. Though injured herself, Daroka gives Adonis some little figures as a gift and says sorry for not realizing how badly he was hurt. Adonis coldly throws them aside. Later, Punch says they'll hold a party. That night, people drink and laugh while Daroka serves drinks. A man flirts with her, but she ignores him. Adonis stays quiet. This makes Daroka feel down. Some people joke that the couple must be fighting. Daroka says they're not together, but no one believes her. They ask about their story, and she says they're traveling the world. Everyone laughs. It seems odd to be in a place like the wasteland. Suddenly, the men who were drinking start collapsing. Daroka panics, thinking Adonis poisoned them, but he calmly explains he changed the alcohol into a sleeping potion using magic. She's relieved they're okay. But when Adonis finds a gun, she begs him not to hurt anyone. He says they aren't worth killing. Then he shocks her. He says he doesn't need her anymore. She asks why. He says she can laugh and enjoy life after losing someone, but he can't. He doesn't feel joy. Daroka explains she only acts happy to hide who she really is. As a witch, she must blend in to survive. She says pretending to be okay is the only way she gets through the day. Adonis tells her not to end up like him. Then he leaves. The next morning, Punch asks Daroka if her boyfriend left. She quickly says Adonis isn't her boyfriend. Punch says Adonis is bold for leaving without even saying thank you. He thinks Daroka made the right choice by separating from him, but she quietly says Adonis is kind, even if others don't see it. Meanwhile, Adonis walks alone, remembering Daroka's words. Her voice stays in his mind, and it bothers him, though he won't admit it. Then he senses someone following him. He prepares to fight, thinking maybe someone from the Empire is tracking him. Back in the wasteland, Daroka is shocked when Punch reveals he knew Adonis was Chloe's apprentice all along. Daroka tries to deny it, but Punch remembers the day Chloe and young Adonis saved his life in the desert. He says having something worth fighting for is true happiness, even if the whole world is against you. Punch says there's no clear answer about revenge. It's Adonis's choice. If it kills him, so be it. He then asks Daroka what she'll do. Daroka says she won't let more people die. She couldn't save Anna or the others, and she won't lose Adonis too. Punch wonders why she's still talking to him instead of chasing Adonis. Then we see the person following Adonis. It's Daroka. Adonis is surprised. He asks if she plans to stop him. Daroka says no, she just wants to travel with him. Adonis doesn't understand why. Daroka says she thought it through. She believes Adonis needs someone with him. She says traveling alone is dangerous, and life is easier with someone by your side. Adonis finds her noisy, but as she walks ahead, he quietly starts following her. In the Redia Empire, a huge crowd gathers to celebrate the new ruler's coronation. A man named Oz looks down at the peaceful city and feels happy. At a large stadium, people cheer for their nation's 23rd emperor, who was once known for pushing science and technology forward. Thanks to Emperor Goth, the country has fast trains, modern phones, and no longer depends on witch powers. He was a genius, but even he couldn't avoid death. Since his passing, the empire has been uneasy. But now, they welcome a new leader. As the countdown ends, the crowd explodes with excitement. To everyone's surprise, the new ruler is Queen Dorothea. The scene is strange. She dances on stage like a pop star, and her show is broadcast everywhere. Her magic of love charms people instantly. She becomes an online sensation, though many men get scolded by their girlfriends for watching her. During her performance, Dorothea says she loves all her fans. Somewhere far away, a man watches her on a dragon-shaped phone. He finds it ironic that Dorothea, a witch, now rules over humans after helping to destroy her own kind using their science. Meanwhile, many people are being executed, and director Theta is very upset. The man realizes Dorothea is far more dangerous than anyone thought. Her enemy's head is added to a pile, showing just how serious she is. As Dorothea ends her show, magic particles gather and form a glowing crown over her head. The crowd cheers wildly. In a different area called the Wasteland, Shiroaji watches and smiles. He's happy for her success, though a little jealous, like someone watching an old friend become famous. He's got a job to do but is impressed with how clever Adonis was. Adonis broke a device he stole from Yamato, making it harder to track him. Shiroaji decides to find Adonis the hard way, using robotic tools. Adonis is now traveling with Daroka. Shiroaji secretly watches and refers to him as the boy loved by the goddess. Adonis wonders what Daroka plans to do, especially since he refuses to give up his revenge. Daroka tries to convince him not to fight kind people like Mr. Punch and his friends. But Adonis stays firm. He allows Daroka to travel with him as long as she doesn't interfere. He then asks her about her magic, the one that makes men fall in love with her. She confirms it works. Adonis wonders why she didn't use it on him back when they met in prison. He thinks maybe Mia told her to capture him by any means. Daroka simply says she didn't want their first meeting to be like that. Adonis thinks for a moment and realizes she's right. It would have ruined everything. While they talk, water in a puddle nearby turns into tiny glowing fairies. Daroka gently reaches out to them. Later, they arrive in a quiet place called Sandland. It looks abandoned. Daroka thinks nobody lives there. Adonis tells her to stay put while he checks around, but she's nervous about being left alone. She carries a white bag full of supplies Mr. Punch gave her, including a small snowman tent she finds cute. Adonis looks around and sees broken windows but no signs of fighting. Everything seems strange. They head toward the police station, the biggest building nearby, hoping for answers. Daroka gets scared by a mouse, but Adonis isn't fazed. On the second floor, a hologram suddenly appears and asks if they need help. Daroka thinks it's a ghost and apologizes, but Adonis tells her it's just a 3D projection. They keep searching until they reach the jail area. Adonis comments how they both have bad memories of prisons. Suddenly, they hear someone singing and playing guitar. It's a sad love song. They find a man sitting inside one of the cells. Daroka tries to talk to him, but he doesn't notice them at first. When she raises her voice, he's surprised to see strangers. He asks why they're here when the city is supposed to be empty. Daroka explains they're just passing through. He thinks it's strange to be sightseeing in ruins. Adonis finds it odd that he's locked up alone. The man says he's a prisoner and has no choice. Daroka sees another figure in the cell and wonders why Adonis wants to leave. He says the place feels wrong. The man laughs and says everyone left the city after something called the gear expansion. People didn't want to live without witches anymore and followed whoever shouted loudest. When Adonis asks about nearby cities, the man mentions one called Mamuda, 70 kilometers away. Before leaving, Daroka feels bad and wants to give the man some food. Adonis calmly asks her if the cell door was even locked. He realizes something but keeps it to himself, only saying that the man and whoever is with him just want peace. After they leave, Daroka notices there was actually only one person alive in the cell. The man's wife is dead. He continues to talk to her as if she's alive, saying the visitors are gone and now they can be together forever. He apologizes for failing to protect her. Adonis and Daroka leave the city behind and begin their journey toward Mamuda. Adonis and Daroka travel across the desert until they reach a city called Mamuda. At the entrance, they pass through a security checkpoint. Daroka feels nervous because the city is full of guards and weapons, while Adonis seems calm, always ready for trouble. To lighten the mood, Daroka suggests they play rock paper scissors, but Adonis ignores her. As they walk through the city, they spot a strange woman standing in the road. Daroka feels sorry for her, thinking she needs help. But Adonis quickly senses something is wrong and warns Daroka to stay away. The woman suddenly reveals herself to be a robot. It scans Daroka and says she isn't bringing enough pleasure. As it gets desperate and starts to act strange, Adonis shoots it before anything worse can happen. He explains that it was a type of adult robot called an animaan. Strange sounds come from nearby, so Adonis tells Daroka to wait outside while he checks things out. Daroka feels uneasy, especially after seeing a pile of broken meowas, another type of robot. Even though Adonis told her to stay back, she follows him inside, remembering her promise to Mr. Punch to keep Adonis out of trouble. She also recalls the moment Adonis almost hurt her once, making her more cautious. Adonis gets upset when he sees her but lets her stay after she reminds him she's carrying their supplies. They move deeper into the building and enter a room filled with horrible smells and creepy noises. Inside, they find robots making disturbing videos. One of the videos shows a man who died from overuse. The robots, strangely aware of what they've done, say they just want love. Adonis realizes these machines have developed feelings but don't understand their purpose. He knows they must be shut down and destroys them. One robot thanks him before it stops working. Elsewhere in the desert, two female agents, called number 5 and number 6, approach a checkpoint. Annoyed by the guards, they decide to fight through. 5 takes down most of the soldiers with ease, and 6 finishes the rest. They laugh at how simple the mission was. Back in Mamuda, Adonis thinks about what Mia, the old witch leader, once said. That technology often shows the dark side of human nature. As they explore, Adonis finds shackles that Daroka used to wear in a concentration camp. He explains that Mamuda likely gave up its women in exchange for robots, which led to its collapse. Without women, no new generation can be born, and this makes Adonis hate humans even more. Adonis begins building a machine using car parts and robot scraps. He tells Daroka it's called an EMP, a device that shuts down robots. She doesn't understand, so he explains it simply. It's like putting them to sleep. He uses his magic, and Daroka holds a speaker that spreads the EMP wave. The robots shut down peacefully, and one even thanks them before turning off. Daroka feels safe knowing Adonis is by her side. Meanwhile, the two agents spot Adonis and realize he is the Empire's most wanted person. They're shocked he's just a teen. 6 warns 5 not to take him lightly. He's killed many people and even wiped out an elite force. Though their mission doesn't involve witches, the Emperor wants anything that helps him control the country. The agents plan to capture Adonis for a reward. 6 tells 5 she'll go anywhere, as long as they're together. As they prepare to confront him, a man named Shiroaji suddenly appears and blocks their path. The agents ask who he is, but he stays silent. Seeing that as a threat, they attack him. Back in the city, Daroka creates a small grave for the robots and prays they rest peacefully. Adonis thinks this is pointless. He believes graves are more for the living than the dead. He tells Daroka that if she really wants to honor the robots, she should help him take revenge on humanity. Daroka disagrees, saying that's too much. She then places a tombstone for the witches who died. Adonis coldly says that maybe this grave is where she belongs, since she loves to cry. Daroka is hurt by the comment. Adonis reminds her that all her witch friends died because he brought humans to their base. He says she should hate him and not want to travel with him. He gives her a chance to walk away. Just then, Daroka shows him two small dolls, the ones he threw away earlier. She says she doesn't want to fight anymore. She admits the witches were wrong to use him. Their obsession with war made them force him to try to bring back Chloe, which was unfair. Adonis is surprised and apologizes, showing that he's slowly starting to change. He tells her to throw away the dolls, but she keeps them proudly. When she says she can sing, Adonis tells her not to, as he's not a fan. Suddenly, Shiroaji appears again. He jokes that they should stop flirting because it makes him jealous. Adonis immediately senses danger. He's shocked that they've been found so quickly. Shiroaji destroys their motorcycle and tells them he has already killed the two agents. He introduces himself as a high-ranking officer from Rhedia and says he has come to take their heads. Adonis, unafraid, smiles. He's glad to finally face someone from Rhedia in battle. Somewhere else, a special agency is busy tracking Adonis. Their boss, Charmy, welcomes Adonis back to the planet but tells him he made a mistake. The humans found him fast because his teleport location was saved on their system. The agency is full of skilled agents who catch criminals all over the country. Charmy wants Shiroaji to finish the job quickly. Adonis now realizes he made a big mistake. He didn't expect to be found so fast. He notices two items Shiroaji is holding but doesn't know what they are. Shiroaji says two girls tried to stop him, so he got rid of them. Daroka tells him to stop being rude, but Shiroaji doesn't recognize her and threatens her for talking back. Adonis pulls Daroka's hair and pushes her aside to protect her. He tries to use magic, but Shiroaji moves fast and blocks him. Adonis pulls out his gun and shoots, but Shiroaji dodges every bullet easily. Adonis guesses Shiroaji might be part machine. Then he uses a magic bullet that grows larger. Charmy tells Shiroaji not to block it, but he dodges it calmly. Shiroaji attacks. Daroka quickly uses her love spell on him. It works for a moment. She threatens to freeze him unless he gives up. Adonis tells her to ask about his powers. But Shiroaji laughs and says Daroka looks like someone he knows. He says she reminds him of the queen, the same queen who used a love spell to make the emperor jump to his death. Adonis and Daroka are confused about why Shiroaji can still move under her spell. Then Shiroaji shows a mark on his chest, meaning he is already under someone else's love spell. He rips off his shirt and launches mechanical hands from his back using a skill called Hummingbird Release. Adonis sees this and tells Daroka to move because her magic won't work here. He remembers when Chloe, someone he loved, was mistreated. Emperor Goethe told her she was worthless without magic. Adonis never wants to be like that man. Daroka picks up a rock, even though she knows it won't help. She just wants to fight by Adonis's side and not lose anyone else. Seeing this, Adonis gives her a glowing sword and magical armor. He says the sword can cut steel and tells her to read a book to learn how to use it. Shiroaji mocks them for acting like a couple. Then, he sends his robot hands to attack. Adonis and Daroka fight back. The hands are weak at first, so Adonis feels confident. But soon, more hands arrive, stronger than before. Shiroaji powers them up and sends them from the sky. Adonis casts a spell called Grape Near and releases energy ribbons to fight back. Then he uses a big attack called Cannonball and surrounds himself and Daroka in a glowing ball of energy. Shiroaji is surprised but not scared. He uses another ability called Hummingbird Castle, which makes the hands pull him back like rocket boosters. He stops the attack, but this is exactly what Adonis wanted. As Adonis prepares his next move, Shiroaji pushes him away and says Adonis underestimated him. But Adonis says the opposite. Shiroaji underestimated him. Then Daroka sneaks up from behind and stabs Shiroaji in the leg with her sword. Adonis smiles. But Shiroaji isn't hurt. He tells her she should have aimed for his head or chest. Then he punches both of them hard, sending them flying. Daroka is badly injured. Shiroaji says their teamwork is good, but not good enough. Suddenly, Shiroaji gets caught by the energy ribbons Adonis released earlier. Adonis jumps in and begins choking him, but Shiroaji uses hidden hands to grab Adonis and slam him against a wall. If Adonis stops using magic, his trap will vanish, but he's stuck. Adonis demands Shiroaji let him go, but Shiroaji tells him to release him first. Daroka sees that things are going badly. She remembers her promise not to let Adonis die. She gets ready to help, but she's too slow. Shiroaji catches her with one of his hands and lifts her into the air. Adonis is upset because he always has to save her. This makes him push harder to fight. But Shiroaji has more robot hands. He slams Adonis to the ground and takes away his pen, making it impossible to fight back. Now Shiroaji is free, Adonis is pinned, and Daroka is caught. Shiroaji plans to hurt Daroka badly. He wants to damage her eyes. Adonis tries to stop him, but it's too late. Daroka, knowing what's coming, thanks Adonis for everything. She says she is glad he stayed with her. They've been through so much together. She says she wishes they had time to see beautiful places together. Shiroaji doesn't care. He tells her this will be the last thing she ever sees. Adonis struggles and screams her name. Daroka looks at him one last time. Tears fall from her eyes as the robot hands stab her eyes while she cries out in pain. Adonis watches in shock as horrible memories of Chloe's death come back to him. Shiroaji laughs cruelly and asks if this moment feels familiar. Adonis becomes more furious and tells him to stop. He breaks free for a short time, but Shiroaji already has Daroka's eyes. Adonis runs to Daroka's side. She is bleeding badly and can't see anymore. Even though she's hurt, Daroka smiles and tells Adonis she's fine and that he should escape. Adonis tells her to be quiet. Then Shiroaji shows up, still holding her eyes, and laughs like a crazy person. He plays with them and tries to make Adonis laugh too. When Adonis refuses, Shiroaji crushes them and dares Adonis to fight. Angry beyond control, Adonis attacks Shiroaji with his fists and slams him into a wall. He picks up his magical pen to protect Daroka, but Shiroaji sends his robot hands after them. Remembering that he's the student of a powerful witch, Adonis uses a spell to send the hands back at Shiroaji. Shiroaji dodges and starts searching for Adonis, who hides inside a building. Inside, Adonis knows he must stop Daroka's bleeding. He warns her that it will hurt, but tells her to trust him. He uses a jet from a robot hand to burn her wounds closed. Daroka thanks him and says sorry. She starts to imagine a simple life where they go to school and live normally. Adonis panics, thinking she's dying, but she's still alive. Her words remind him of Chloe, who also dreamed of a peaceful life. Adonis feels like he has failed everyone. Outside, Shiroaji is looking for them. Adonis then summons a giant beast. Shiroaji remembers this monster once destroyed a big part of the capital. He knows he must avoid its attacks. Adonis, full of anger, says he wants to make the queen blind to get revenge for what happened to Daroka. Shiroaji gets angry too and sends more robot hands to fight. Adonis insults him and dodges, but there are too many hands, and the giant beast is destroyed. Shiroaji mocks Adonis for being weak. Adonis powers up one arm with armor and tries to punch him, but Shiroaji blocks it easily and throws Adonis around. Adonis tries to cast another spell, but Shiroaji knocks the pen away. He says Adonis's magic is slow because there's always a delay after writing. He tells Adonis it's his fault for being human. Adonis demands he fix Daroka's eyes, but Shiroaji creates a huge robot hand and tries to crush him. Daroka, trying to find Adonis, hears someone calling her. She thinks it's him, but it's really Shiroaji tricking her. Adonis, injured and weak, tries to warn her, but Shiroaji throws him aside and stabs him with a metal rod. Then he beats Adonis again and again. Daroka hears Adonis screaming and begs Shiroaji to stop. He tells her to shut up, saying her voice reminds him of the queen. He talks about falling in love with the queen, but then says it doesn't matter. He believes Adonis is meant to die and that there shouldn't be two witches like Daroka. Daroka tries to reason with him, saying witches are the ones who suffer. She begs him not to hurt Adonis. She says Adonis only destroyed the capital because humans attacked witches first. She used to want peace, but after everything, now she feels revenge is fair. Adonis starts to wake up again and sees Shiroaji smash Daroka's face into the ground. Shiroaji just wants to kill Adonis now. Adonis gets an idea. He tells Daroka to use her love spell on him so she can control his body like a puppet. Daroka doesn't want to do it, but Adonis says it's their only chance. Shiroaji tells them to give up, but Adonis begs Daroka to cast the spell. She finally agrees and says sorry for using her power on him. A huge amount of energy flows from Adonis's body. Shiroaji is shocked by his power. Adonis almost lands a heavy punch that sends Shiroaji flying. Magical writing floats all around Adonis. There is a flashback showing how other witches used to bully Daroka. They hated her love spell and called it dirty. Even the witch leader rejected her. Now, Adonis understands why Daroka always tries to be pure. Magic keeps growing around him, and he covers Daroka in its power too. He tells her she worries too much and should stop holding back. He promises not to fall in love with her even under her spell. Daroka accepts and casts her full power spell called Love Spell. Nightfall. A magic crown appears above her head. Now, Adonis can move without being pulled by gravity. His injuries are healed, and his magic has no limits. Shiroaji is stunned. He never knew a love spell could be this powerful. Daroka proudly says that no one can defeat Adonis now. Shiroaji panics and tries to run away, but Adonis creates a massive energy blade that cuts everything. Adonis, now under Daroka's spell, says he will do anything she asks. Shiroaji tries to run away, but Adonis chases after him. Shiroaji is shocked by how strong Adonis has become. Adonis catches him and throws him through several buildings. Shiroaji realizes he is no match now, but it's already too late. Adonis tears off one of his arms and a leg to punish him for hurting Daroka. Shiroaji nervously jokes and tries to stop the fight, but Adonis is too angry. He uses powerful magic, warning that nothing will be left of Shiroaji. Magic spreads across the city, shaking the ground. Snow starts falling. Adonis says this is the same spell Chloe once used to bring rain, and he promised to use it only to protect others. Now, he keeps that promise. Shiroaji watches in awe as Adonis casts a huge spell called Ritual of Ruin. He tries to attack, but Adonis freezes and smashes all his robot hands. In panic, Shiroaji begs Daroka to stop Adonis, saying this kind of magic can destroy a human body. Adonis's body starts to freeze, but Daroka sees him glowing like he's on fire. Her magic surprises Shiroaji. Shiroaji tries one more attack, but Adonis freezes him completely. The spell, called Absolute Zero, sends a powerful beam from the sky. Frozen and helpless, Shiroaji knows he's losing. Charmy tries to help him with a drone, but Adonis's spell freezes and destroys that too. Adonis hugs Daroka tightly as the city freezes around them. Elsewhere, Mr. Punch and his group feel the air getting colder. He sees something strange and tells everyone to find shelter. They listen, even though they don't know what's going on. At the agency, Charmy talks to her team, but no one knows where Shiroaji is. The satellite shows a big cloud and freezing temperatures, but they can't tell if he's alive. Director Yamato is amazed at Adonis's magic and understands catching him won't be easy. When the storm ends, the bikers come outside. It has never snowed here before, so they're confused. Mr. Punch looks toward the city and hopes his friends are safe. Inside the city, Adonis and Daroka lie under the snow. A vision of Chloe appears and hugs Adonis, reminding him of his promise to protect others. Then she disappears. Daroka wakes up and sees that Adonis covered her with armor to keep her safe. But now Adonis is weak and falls. Daroka removes the love spell, but Adonis still collapses. She holds him close. Surprisingly, Shiroaji is still alive. He tells Daroka that she looks like a young queen he once knew. He knows he doesn't have much time left and asks her to give the queen a message if she ever meets her. He wants the queen to know he tried his best, even though he failed. He wonders if there was ever a world where they could have been together. His body then breaks apart into ice. Adonis slowly regains some strength and promises Doroka he'll fix her eyes. Meanwhile, in Rhedia, Queen Dorothea is jogging. People admire her beauty and kindness. Her run is shown on TV, and everyone is amazed by her. Her assistant worries about her safety and suggests she take guards, but she says everyone loves her and she's not afraid. However, she is waiting for a reply from a group called the Crowns. Since they haven't responded, she tells her assistant to send them a warning. If they don't listen, she will declare war. We then see different nations like the Eastern Nation, the Medical Nation, the Military Nation, and the Single Mother Nation. These are the countries Dorothea is ready to threaten. Back in the snowy city, Adonis puts his coat over Doroka and says sorry for the cold. Doroka jokes that it's his fault for freezing everything. They look around at the snowy land created by his magic. Doroka feels bad about using her love spell on Adonis, thinking it may have changed how he feels about Chloe. But Adonis tells her not to worry. He asked her to use it. He says Shiroaji was powerful and that he couldn't have one without her. Doroka still feels guilty, but Adonis tells her to stop saying sorry. She hides her face, worried about how she looks, and says she feels ugly. Adonis says it's his fault her eyes were hurt. He tells her she's clumsy and scared all the time. She gets upset until he says her kindness is real. He apologizes for calling her fake before and asks her to share some of her kindness with him. Doroka is surprised. Adonis tells her to be stronger because the world is harsh. He gently covers her damaged eyes. She says it feels like he's holding her. He reminds her that Chloe is still the only one he loves, and that the love spell didn't really affect him. This makes Doroka feel better. They get ready to continue their journey. Doroka reminds him to thank Mr. Punch for the tent. She almost trips, but Adonis catches her. She gets nervous when he keeps holding her hand. Adonis doesn't say anything, making her more nervous. Then he says he'll keep holding her hand because the ground is slippery. He remembers someone once told him that people should help each other. Doroka feels happy and holds his hand tightly. She now understands why people choose revenge, while Adonis is glad she finally sees his point. That's it for today, my fellow men of culture. Make sure to like and subscribe the channel for more content.